my time when I've grown up or grown now the way I am, was always about communication, connection, observing people, watching them, watching their talent. And I think even that in today's world can be terminalized, or as we can say, as called creative communication.
Yes.
So when I started, it was purely about being well dressed, and I was a convent breed. So anyone from a convent school would know that it was mannerisms, dress sense, vocabulary, presentation was the priority. Education was a must.
So we're talking about the convent schools in specific of India.
Yeah.
And in context of that, just to clarify with yourselves, you've come from India, and in specific Delhi, is that correct?
Correct.
And then you've taken a journey into England and you've dominated the airwaves. That's the bottom line. So the reality is that your creativity is unchallenged. I will say that honestly from my heart. I had the good fortune of actually, sincerely, I could not believe it when I was actually invited to be a fellow judge at an event that Mani was actually not only sponsoring, but she was also headlining as well. So that was when we got to meet each other a few years ago. So a question to yourself. If I was to say, first things first, I'm really, really humbled that you've opened up so quickly with your conversation around your journey within your life. We'll come to the context of Khubsoorat and your brand very shortly, but I just want to delve into who's Mani Kohli. I mean, everybody has challenges, but you have just obliterated that feeling from the outside, from we can see. And I just want to just help some of our listeners who may be thinking today, who may have, if I could use such a word, have understood that they may have gone through a divorce themselves.
Sure.
And maybe their world is currently shattered.
Sure.
So this is about the empowerment hour. Please.
Sukhi, as I mentioned to you, default. That's where I am actually, because in education, I was mastering economics. And my father was very keen, being very intelligent and prefect and all the good grounding, good school offers. I was going into Indian administrative service. Now, if you know anything about Indian...
a little.
Anything about Indian kind of career modes, that would have been the cream. Wow. But there I was, met this guy who swept me off my feet, brought me to this country. And as I said, at the age of 18, started a life which I don't think was as promising as it looked at that time. I don't say it was more about Khubsoorat, as I said, was only because I had that inner talent in me, which I actually exploited more than anything else. Yes. And that came out of need. Yes. And the need arose because I was put into the deep end and I had to rise out of it. And being a very self-respecting and well-brought-up child, I thought at the time, I didn't want to turn to anyone and ask for help, especially not my family, whom I thought I had to prove myself before I come face to face with them and meet them in the eyes and say I am somebody or I need any kind of help at all. So because I was always constantly coming back with some beautiful clothes that I used to wear, I got this whole following of women in the so-called social circle who would come up to me and say, can you get this made for me?
Wow.
And really speaking, there were no clothes. Even in India, we were dependent on tailors. There was no such thing as designer aspects, which are so, sadly, very loosely thrown around as a statement now. Yeah. In our time, we had to actually go to what we call a couture level from scratch to finish. And I did that. And I must say, I was lucky enough to come across these very good artisans, craftsmen, and people who knew and valued handwork, starting from even the weave of fabric. So there was a lot for me to exploit out of India, bring it back and sell to the people here, because they could connect. They had left as a migrative society. They knew what they'd left behind, and they were aspiring to wear it here and wear it well. The only difference was that I wrapped it and presented it in a very English manner. I brought in very soft colors. I brought in rose pinks and grays and hues of blues, which were probably not prevalent in India because we are known for our reds and oranges and fuchsias.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So for me, it was more about merging with where we are, but at the same time standing out for who we are. So my empowerment started then. In my dress sense, that I had to be who I am, I must represent well. And being a very proud Indian, I think I managed that initial start and kickstart thanks to a following very well. So it all started with coffee sessions where I would take my wares and open the boot of my car and present what I had, which was a collection of 10, 15 garments. And I was lucky enough that those 10, 15 sold.
Wow.
And of course, at the same time, I had this very sad story in my own home where I was not appreciated for who I was because my husband didn't like to see the success I was probably bringing in with me from who I was.
So can I just, sorry to interject there
Sure.
a bit. Was that at a time when you were actually kind of married during that time frame? Was it?
I married and came to this country. So I was just 19 when I had my daughter here.
Yeah.
And no family, no friends.
So, wow. Do you know what? I'm not sure if anybody's listening who's had a very similar journey, but this is the Empowerment Hour with myself, Sukhi, and I'm trying to bring individuals, as you can see, who are tremendously powerful individuals who have got themselves up and above and over adversities and challenges they had in their life. So a question again, Maniji, if I can just share. Just to clarify, you got married. You came to a foreign country.
Yeah.
The language wasn't the barrier at all. But
No, English was not a problem at all.
Not at all. But the culture was, because it was a different environment. Yes.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you're looking at a very comfort zone in India, very protected society. Here you're out there looking and fending for yourself, always watching over your shoulder to see who's coming to get you, or who's with you and who's not with you. Basically, I had no friends. And to have just the one person whom I put my entire life at stake was my husband. And it didn't work out. And because it didn't work out, I had to do something to make it turn around to provide a better future for myself and my children, because I had a daughter by then. And 8 years later, my son followed. And that was purely according to the old adage of, the old generation who used to think if you have a boy, give another child a chance. If you have a boy, you'd have a good heritage line to carry your family forward as a legacy. I attempted. I had a boy, but I think he was more the decisive factor for me to end my marriage. It wasn't more about remaining within the folds of a marriage which was not providing any security, any binding, any kind of respite to me as a woman, as a wife, as a mother. So I had to break from that mold.
That is just so hard, but also so empowering within itself. Such a great decision to make, because I'm sure there's many listeners on this on our radio show, which happens internationally. They're going to take some serious merits from this, and to realize that basically, I think it can only go so far before a person says enough's enough. And
Sukhi, I'm sorry to say this, but I know there's a lot today when we talk about divorces and breakups and single parent. In 1979 and 1985, when I finally broke from the arms of a marriage or a married household, it was unheard of in the Asian fields. And my parents certainly didn't want to hear the word divorce in the house.
Sure.
So I had to fight not just the people around me or the social strata or the society or my parents. It was also about letting my children know that I'm going to be able to take care of you. I know you're a little young to understand that marriages break up, but they have probably now understood it after so many years. But at that time, all they could do was just look up at me and as a provider, as an emotional support system around them. But I had my parents who helped me. And I could only go to them when I said to them that I've managed to get onto my feet, but when I get my first roof over my head is when I want my children to be looked after by you. I can't trust anybody else in this world with my kids. So that's the kind of, in those days, help that I could seek was purely emotional.
It's something to just that little tenderness of looking forward to.
True.
That energy with possibilities of hitting your targets, and then obviously having your parents possibly to come.
So I actually found a positive mold in being an Indian and being able to sell to the British Asian, something that I could build from India, bring and keep my connectivity with my children who were there with my parents, meeting them every month, because my traveling was pretty strong. There was no such thing as imports in those days for Indian suits, because there were no such thing as ready-made garments.
Wow.
I was pretty much the pioneer.
Yes,
of ready-made garments. And that's when everybody else came on to the bandwagon Much later, actually. The bandwagon started only 10 years ago.
So just to pause there, then, there's a lot of individuals here in Peterborough who are actually in the same space with reference to when it comes to ready-mades and garments that are being sold. I'm not sure a lot of people actually knew here in Peterborough. Actually, my parents, my father and my mum, were very, very prevalent within the Peterborough area selling garments as well. They didn't do ready-made. They did all the
fabrics.
The loose, the fabrics and stuff. So that was actually the first business that my parents set up in 67,
Wow.
68.
Wow.
So I'm just going to touch on a few things because I heard some beautiful, beautiful nuggets there. Firstly, I want to thank you personally from myself and from our viewers who are listening for being so open and so honest with the way things are how they were, basically. Not how they are now, how they were.
Sukhi, today's environment allows you to be a little bit more interactive with your listeners. People tend to have experienced a little bit more and are probably more open about the way of life and are more receptive to changes.
Bless you.
The only thing I feel very different from then and now is challenges. Challenges are not met head on with a bit of responsibility, unfortunately. I see challenges being there in life. People think even going out and working is a challenge, which to me is not.
It's not, yes. Absolutely.
To me, it's more about creating your identity at work, which is a challenge. Being able to hold yourself upright, strong, and being able to motivate others. I think for me, that is more of a challenge. I don't think the challenge comes from the fact that you're a provider. In today's day and age, there are so many single parents who are providers. I'm probably just one of the many in history. But it doesn't mean much to me. It means more that I've been able to sustain. For me, I've been able to sustain these 40 years of climbing step by step the ladder. Yes. And having even reached, I never say I've reached the pinnacle of success, because you do not know what more is round the corner in life. So I can't take what my state or situation today is for granted. I have been lucky. I have been fortunate. I have been probably rewarded and awarded for what I have done so far by not just, people saying flattering or glorious words to me, but by my customers who mean a lot to me. Customers who have come to me when they themselves were single women, who got married and brought their first outfit from me, who bring their now not just daughters and daughter-in-laws, but their grandchildren to me.
Wow.
And I don't think there's anything
Legacy.
more creditable than that, more appreciative than that. And to me, that is a satisfaction.
I'm going to tell you now, this is an absolute glorious comment there of a generational legacy.
Fourth generation now.
Fourth generation legacy.
Yeah.
When I posted this out just earlier on, I sent it out to all of my community and communication that we're going to be introducing and interviewing the Mani Kohli.
Oh.
And I've already got a text back just before I left here from Gerd. I'm not sure if Gerd's watching tonight, but Gerd Tour, which is actually around the corner. He owns Hanson's Estates. And he mentioned, he goes, "Whoa, my wife knows her really well, and she shops there as well." So it's really lovely. So
Sukhi, I do have a lot of customers who have come to me from Peterborough to London to shop with me. Yes.
Oh.
And I have not just initial members, and I have to tell you, there's a lot of well-established Pakistani community who has been generously donating to my purse strings here, to my business.
Wow.
So I have grown because of that appreciation, and I'm so relieved that I'm actually coming here, and I'm hoping that there would be a few listening out there. And I just want to say a huge thank you to them and let them know that, you know what, I couldn't have made it without your support.
Oh, wow. How humbling is that? So all of the Pakistani community and the Asian communities are here in Peterborough actually helping Mani, and in the sense of indirectly by buying her product. Obviously, they think that she's helping them by giving them such beautiful, beautiful garments to wear. But she's saying thank you. So there you are, a little thank you. So if anybody wants to jump online and get in touch with ourselves, don't forget it's Salam Radio on 07745 278 978, and that's the WhatsApp contact. Or ring the office directly, or the show, which is 01733 602 133. And if you're listening on radio, you'll be listening to 106.2 FM. Alternatively, we're here with Mani Kohli, the actual founder and originator of the whole Khubsoorat Collection brand. That's the whole international brand. We're really, really humbled to have her here in little old Peterborough. And if you're watching live on Facebook, because it started to work perfectly okay again, so Facebook Live is backup team, and that's on Salam Radio Facebook page live, and also Salam Radio YouTube Live. So do tune in, and you can see the beautiful energy that I have in front of me. Hey, look at the cameras, right? Okay, so just a couple of things that I noticed. Now, a little bit of history that I understand from yourself here, Mani, because the story is just impeccable. It's just an unbelievable managing journey. But people who don't really know the Khubsoorat brand, I mean, they'll be listening here. They probably think that ready-made is whatever they buy in the local Peterborough shops or their local shops. Yours is much more orientated around unique pieces and couture. Your love, the way I see this is when I look at your collections, I see this unbelievable amalgamation of Western UK markets and American markets, as well as the beautiful authenticity and karigari. Now, karigari is the workmanship, the workmanship of India and Eastern environments. And actually, I kind of see you as a bit of an upholder of heritage.
Oh, well, why not? Because we have a very rich, very enriched by various cultures that have molded and framed and really, and I must say, enriched the whole craftsman era, from Mughal dynasty to what it is today. Yes. Even digital economy has brought in so much onto the palette for an Indian craftsman, and how quickly they've adapted to it. And I've had to keep pace. I've had to keep pace, and it's kind of, I'm slammed both ways, by the way, because having your own production unit, where I was the first one to have a pen and paper and sketch things out and tell them this is how it is. And trust me, in my line of trade, if I sketch, that line will be followed to the T.
To the T? Can you imagine?
So if it is crooked, it will be crooked. So I'll have to set it right. And in today's digital medium, I tried my hand at all these various
CAD and stuff like that,
apps and what have yous, that, you go to try this, it'll work for you. But when I showed it to my karigars, the workers, the craftsmen, all the people in the factory, I have a very old unit in Lucknow who's been working with me for the last 46 years, literally, before me, my family. And I just brought them on, and, they would look at it and say, "Ye kya hai? This is not something we understand as your sketch, your format, your drawing. This doesn't represent you. It's too technical. We don't understand it. Can we have your sketch with your notes, with your little references of colors in there, and how you want it placed?" And that's what we would like to follow. So today as well, I'm afraid whatever you may look at in the phones and formats, it's hard work for me, because I'm having to listen to my customer who comes in with these references, and I tell them, sorry, I can't actually imitate any of what you're showing me, purely because I have a brand which is homegrown. It's totally our own. We are not looking at any middlemen out here. It's me who hears you and talks and translates to my workforce. And that translation, if it is correctly presented, you will have your dream outfit. If you do not converse with me and tell me what you want, except for a picture, it's not going to hold, because I'm a personality developer. A woman walks in, I read her. The minute she walks in, I know what she's good at. Wow. I've never wasted her time. I've always taken her to the pieces that look flattering on her. And I probably am known for it. I've just become sort of a person you have to connect with, and I won't waste your time. That's how it is. Sometimes I feel I'm very cheap. I should have raised my prices way high and probably made more money. And, I hear about people really rolling in money in this trade. For me, it has been more, I think,
a labor of love.
Labor of love and passion, which I've just grown and appreciated. That's all that has mattered to me and maintained and sustained.
Can you, if any of you listeners are listening, you can understand that what we've got here is we've got somebody who really truly cares about their customer and the customer's journey, the customer's understanding of what they think should look good on them, but also has the experience of understanding of how to drape somebody, how to actually look at the body style and say, this is the best way to look at it. And then a third element, which is just totally unique in this industry, where somebody's actually turned around and, I'm sure, inspired many and thousands on this planet, but actually inspired by the original houses of Lucknow and places like that, which we're going to touch on in a second.
Sure.
Lucknow is a city in India, and we're basically taking the hand stitch, which is all about the hand stitch garment, into a translation which is uniquely seen as Mani Kohli.
True.
So why Lucknow?
Lucknow, because I got married in Lucknow. So I was introduced to, believe it or not, to the entire old city and the craftsmen by my husband, ex-late husband. And I was enamored by what I saw. I was like a hungry, gasping young girl who could only absorb. Wow. And I think I was a sponge which totally, I think there was no limits to how much I could soak in. And all that registered, and that format never went away. Till today, I still have the same.
I'm telling you, Mani, I'm going to, if anybody's listening, I'm really sorry they're going to have to stop the show there because we've got the first half coming up. And in about another 30 seconds, you're going to have 4 minutes of adverts. And then we're going to come straight back with Mani Kohli, the founder of the whole Khubsoorat Collection brand. I am truly intrigued. I am absolutely blown away by the love that we're sharing here. So after the break, we'll come back and we'll talk a bit more about your Lucknow connection and how you have actually translated people's visions and dreams into their ideal and perfect environments. Okay?
Absolutely.
So thank you very much, Mani. So if anybody just wants to connect, it's Salam Radio with your host, Sukhi Wahiwala. See you soon.
Stay tuned to Salam Radio after this short ad break.
1 in every 10 people live without access to safe, clean water. Let's give them a better choice than drinking either dirty water or no water at all. Together, we can turn this desperate situation around by delivering safe water solutions to the world's poorest people. Call 0161 225 0225 or visit humanappeal.org.uk.
Where can you get high quality and low prices? Amar Food Store and Halal Meat in Lincoln Road, Triangle is the place to go. Pay us a visit and take advantage of our special offers and great range of products on groceries, vegetables, fruits and halal meat. Also send money to Pakistan absolutely free. We have all top brands at special offers, offer free customer parking and provide a free local delivery service. Amar Food Store and Halal Meat, 613B Lincoln Road, Peterborough. Call us on 01733 687 374. High in quality, low in prices.
Peterborough just got a whole lot tastier. Five Lads Flame Grilled Peri Peri Chicken is now open. Bring your family and friends to Peterborough's first HMC meat selling restaurant. We are experts in grilled chicken, lamb chops and gourmet lamb and beef burgers. Our healthy options include fresh salads and fresh grilled vegetables. Fresh, clean and healthy grilled food with 4 different flavours. Lemon and herb, medium, hot and extra hot. 5-star hygiene rating. Eat in, order and collect or order for delivery on Deliveroo. Follow 5 Lads Peterborough on Facebook and Instagram 5 Lads. 15 Cowgate, Peterborough, PE1 1LZ. Call 01733 56 22 87. Open 7 days a week, 12 to 11 p.m.
Al Murad Tiles. With over 70 stores nationwide, we are now open in Peterborough. Up to 50% discount offers now on. Largest selection of tiles. Full bathroom suites from only £189. Paint, LED lighting, laminate flooring from only £7.99. Over 1,000 designs of wallpaper in stock. We have everything you need. Come and visit us at 193 Fengate, Peterborough, PE1 5BH, or call us on 01733 34 58 47. Al Murad Tiles, now open.
सलाम रेडियो और पेनी अपील सजा रहे हैं ग्लैडस्टोन पार्क कम्युनिटी सेंटर में महफिल कवाली की एक खूबसूरत शाम मशहूर कवाल ज़हीर अब्बास के साथ 13 अप्रैल बारोज़ हफ्ता शाम 6 बजे। टिकट सिर्फ £10 में। टिकट और मज़ीद मालूमात के लिए आज ही रब्ता कीजिए 07722 558884 या फिर 07852 685851। महफिल कवाली की एक शाम कवाल ज़हीर अब्बास के साथ।
عند الحضور إليكم أنا إن رأيت جماعة قلت السلام عليكم.
Broadcasting 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. This is Salam Radio.
Hi team, this is Sukhi Wahiwala once again, inviting you back with Mani Kohli on our amazing Empower Hour show every Tuesday evening between 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock in the evening. This has been a treat, I'm telling you. I've got some people who are liking it in the groups, etc. Please, please, please interact if you want to. We have greatness in the room. We have Mani Kohli, who is the absolute founder of the global brand Khubsoorat Collections. Now we're going to touch and delve just a little bit more into this conversation, but if you'd like to get involved with WhatsApp, please text 07745 278 978. Alternatively, feel free to call the studio directly on 01733 602 133. So, Maniji, welcome back.
Hello again.
Yeah, we have you. So we had an amazing conversation earlier on, and if you haven't listened to the first half, please do rewind and make an effort to actually listen to it, because it's just been brilliant. Second thing, just so that we can put a pre-frame in place for everybody who's listening today, that at 7:40 approximately, we will be stopping for a 4-minute azan, because obviously the time frames are in that time frame. And then we'll come straight back for the latter half of the 10 minutes before we stop at around 9:56. So just letting all the viewers listening know. Please interact. It's Mani Kohli in the house, everybody. Now, just for a question, a few things that I've noticed on there. Now, I don't think the audience may know who we've actually got in the room today. So the reality is that your store itself, current store right now, because obviously you downsized a little bit just due to the fact that you wanted to change your lifestyle. Where is it right now?
Well, now I'm in South Woodford in London.
South Woodford, yeah.
Yes, and I was 30 years in Green Street, 10 years in Ealing Road. I had the very first shop opened in Great West Road, which was only for about 6 months. And then the split happened with my husband, and I branched on my own. So my flagship store out of East London has been the one which has given me the most energy and receptiveness.
Oh, lovely.
More because the customer was very much not just one background. So I had the Mauritians, I had the, of course, the Pakistanis and the Indians, the Gujaratis, the Malawians. We had people from South Africa, from America, from Canada. So they gave me the incentive and push to leave the coffee sessions behind and start with... I did the first very beautiful choreographed show by Nina Wadia at the Wembley Conference Centre. And I had Dimple Kapadia who represented me then.
The Dimple Kapadia?
The Dimple Kapadia.
Wow.
Unfortunately, I have nothing to show for it because I couldn't afford a photographer. I couldn't afford PR and publicity. It was the first time such shows were being put together because there was no professionalism in this whole theme and scheme of Asian fashion. So we brought it in. So I started a little school of teaching students and bringing them in. And we did the very first show for the India Tourism Board by invitation to do the Himalayan Splendor, where I had 17 girls and boys out of the schools whom I trained to do the first ever fashion show in Battersea.
Wow.
And it was attended by 40,000 people.
Are you...
the record has still not been
Hang on. Let me just rewind. I'm not sure everybody heard that. 40,000 people.
40,000.
And
it is true.
Was that over a period of days or something?
It was just 2 days, and it was blown away, and nobody had seen a show like that.
Well, I don't think the industry will see a show like that again. And what year is this again?
And I'm looking at 1991.
Wow. So this is pre-social media, team. Everybody's listening. This is true marketing by evidence, by people realizing that they actually really love the work from what has been displayed and what's been described to what's actually been worn and draped by the models at the time.
Oh, yes.
Working with people like Dimple Kapadia.
Yeah, we had other Bollywood stars like Malaika Arora, who was really new at the time, but she was the V sound, who was so electric and very sexy and oomphed and all that, and I was pretty much geared for it. So, and in those days, that's it. Khubsoorat was a word that had to be used for all the entities which were Bollywood stars, and we had some Hollywood people. And we had the Bend It Like Beckham film was also done by me.
What was Gurinder Chadha?
Gurinder Chadha's film, where I was the costume designer. So we have had amazing breaks.
Do you understand who we've got in the room, team? You know, this is Mani Kohli in the house.
Yes, and it didn't stop. I even got selected to dress Theresa May when she was still the Secretary of State at the brink of the elections, and she became the Prime Minister.
So you dressed Theresa May,
yes,
for a cover shoot.
We did what we call the Asian Women Achievement Awards, which is the most sought after awards for women empowerment, and I was nominated for it. Amazing. And I got the opportunity to dress her up. I never said no, and in a matter of half an hour I had to find something to make her absolutely presentable.
I think did I miss that? Half an hour, you said?
Half an hour.
You had half an hour?
Half an hour.
And you've got such a prominent
That's
figure.
the only time she could take out to see me.
Oh my goodness. So how did you manage that?
We managed. I think my experience counts there. And she was on the front page of every newspaper, television, you name it. She made such an impact. Such an impact. And then we had Mylene Klaas, who's the pianist and the well-represented face of Marks and Spencer's, and a brilliant singer. And she was another one who made it to the first page of everything.
Wow.
I did Bollywood Dreams, the actual stage theatre.
So that's the stage theatre in West End, right?
That's right.
Amazing. Bollywood Dreams itself. So what era was this again? Remind me, because I'm forgetting about this.
Really?
Yeah.
No, it's the early, should I say 2000?
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
And then we have moved on since then. Then I spent more time actually spreading my wings across the subcontinent. Went on to America to build 3 stores there, one in New Jersey, one in Long Island. And then we had a little studio in Manhattan, which was then manned by my daughter.
Oh, amazing.
And in the meantime, at home, I had to bring down the 2 stores to just the 1 flagship store in Green Street because it got too busy. People want too much of my time. I couldn't give enough time between Ealing Road in Wembley to Green Street.
There's only one Mani Kohli.
I wish we had multiples. I could have made more money.
And I'm sure everybody sitting here laughing about that. This is amazing. Well, can I just share? We've got an amazing comment by Pavinda, and she's saying an amazing interview, Maniji and Sukhi, inspiring words from a wonderfully humble person
who
has used her own experience in life to enrich and empower the lives of others through the relationships that she has with people, having a great sense of clothing, identity, great words of wisdom. So thank you for interacting there.
Thank you.
Do communicate, and I hope you can see us and hear us pretty well there. Sorry to disturb you there in the middle of mid-flow, but I'm still intrigued by these amazing designs that you come up with. I mean, I know you've draped and dressed seriously from royalty,
but that was purely because I believe in a certain personality and personality vibes. For me, it's not just about putting people into good clothes. It's about whether the people can carry those clothes with their personality. So it has to suit an identity. It's not, I may wear a sari beautifully, but a person next to me may not. So I have to find something that they would show off equally well, and they should identify Khubsoorat when they dress up. Khubsoorat means beautiful. So if a woman doesn't walk in looking beautiful, my purpose is defeated. So I have to make a woman, and a woman can be so confident when she's looking good. She has the whole room mesmerized. She has people, an audience mesmerized. It boosts her confidence. It brings in the zenith in her. So why shouldn't I be the one to attribute to it? And I've always made it a point to do it.
Beautifully said.
And, whether it's a bride or now, and I must tell you this, Sukhi, I love women of the 50s, 60s and 70s. They have done away with all their duties of bringing up children and rearing them and getting them married, education, homes, and their husbands and families. Now they want to be themselves. And, the opportunity they give me is tremendous.
That is so beautiful to hear.
Tremendous.
Yeah, that's so beautiful to hear. To actually dress and give the generations, the senior generations, more identity, or actually identify themselves and really connect with their inner self. So we are actually going to take a little break very shortly with very, very shortly, just for a very short 4-minute break with the Azan. I am so proud to have you in the room, I really am, because when we talk about people who have empowered individuals, it's a little bit more powerful than that. It's not just empowering. It's about you've actually unlocked individuals. You've opened them out to their own self.
I've done my best. And my whatever passion and talent I had developed, I had to let it go to people who are deserving of it.
God bless you for that. So we're about to stop very shortly for an azan, and we'll come straight back on the Empower Hour with myself, Sukhi Wahiwala.
You're listening to Salam Radio, and it's now time for Maghrib Azan. This azan is sponsored by UK Islamic Mission, serving humanity since 1962.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Ashhadu an la ilaha illa Allah. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح.
الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم، وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدا الوسيلة والفضيلة وابعثه مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته. اللهم آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم بك نحيا وبك نموت وإليك المصير. رضينا بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم نبيا ورسولا.
Peace be upon you. I start in the name of the Most High. The most
broadcasting 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. This is Salam Radio.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for sticking with us a little bit there. This is the Salam Radio Empower Hour show with myself, your host, Sukhi Wahiwala, and our amazing guest today, Mani Kohli, the actual founder and director and inspirer, creator of the whole Khubsoorat brand. Now, just to clarify something, Mani, your spelling of Khubsoorat as a collection brand is a little different to what the modern English explanation of how we usually speak. Because in English, they spell it differently, and you've taken what we classify the Lucknow, Urdu, and Hindi version of the conversation. Please do spell it.
So it is basically Khub, which is KHUBSOORAT collection by Mani Kohli.
Got it. So Khubsoorat meaning with the sound.
Khub, matlab bahut khub.
Yeah, meaning beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so beautiful. So Khub, just to respell it again, just so everybody's listening, is
KHUBSOORAT collection.
Wow. So if somebody wants to get in hold of yourself, because I'm not sure about you realizing that you're how inspiring you are as a person, not only just to the feminine women energy, but also the sheer class that you bring to the table. So how would somebody get hold of you?
Well, basically, I have a boutique, which is on 129 High Road, South Woodford, which is London, 0208 475 0037. We have a website, which is www.khubsooratcollection.com. We have a Facebook page called Khubsoorat Collection.
Wow.
We have Instagram, which is at Khubsoorat Collection.
Wow.
So we have very much reached out every digital format.
So everybody out there, if you want to get hold of Mani, please don't hold yourself back. But I've got a question for yourself. Mani, one of the SMSs that just came through a moment ago said specifically around, I mean, what is karigari? You know, because you're talking about karigari, which is
well, karigari is actually workmanship. It's workmanship, which unfortunately, which is today's terms, is a dying art. Wow. We had people who used to do zardozi. Zardozi as a word is not understood. Zar means sui, dozi means dhaga.
Wow.
So zardozi actually was one thread tied into the actual weave of the fabric. So zardozi work now is more or less extinct.
So zardozi, just for the English listeners, that would be basically needle and
thread. Yeah. But then you had tapestry. You had the French doing the tapestry. The English knew, and the nuns knew what petit pois embroidery was about. So this is all related formats. Whether you look at the English terms or the French terms or the Indian terms of zardozi, it was still means the same thing. And this is all hand work. It's very intricate and very time consuming, a lot of patience needed. And probably in those days, because people had the time and energy to expand, it was probably even built higher on the formats of French knots, adding small beading into it. But now we don't have that. And I really want to stick to this craft by upholding my belief in the fact that this zardozi work, the chikankari, which is kakori. Kakori is another when two fabrics are pleated together and hand stitched together.
Pleated meaning they're folded together?
They're pleated. They're stitched on top of each other in their transparency and bound by a single piece of hand work with sui and dhaga, which is needle and thread. Now, these are dying arts. You don't have them. Not many appreciators left because nobody's taught them. So I don't blame the new generation. They don't know what they're missing out on. They're only seeing what is digitally approved. What they haven't seen is the hand format, the human touch and labor and the work of labor and art that goes into making some of the old pieces, which they go to museums and appreciate. But I still am very proud that I do have pieces like that. I still make pieces like that.
So in your collection, you're actually using the same old art, and
I
you
still
actually hold
have
them in England, so you can go into the shop and see it.
You can see it. I do have pieces like that. Unfortunately, commercially, they are not viable. So I do still carry pieces which are, I call art format, but they are not profiteering businesses.
So how could, I mean, I have to ask you a question, because my brain's intrigued by this. I mean, what exactly do you, how would you pay for something like that? You know, what
well, you don't. And in my case, I've actually, when I started this business and I'd had a very rough footing in life, I had made it a point, because I didn't have a home to stay in. I made it a point that my karigars, I would give them their very first home. So charity begins at home.
Oh, wow.
And I lent the first lot of money whenever I made it, in whichever profit it came, I gave it to my karigars, my workforce, go out there, whether it was tailors or the embroiderers, go out there, make your first home. Then I actually brought in the first child to educate. So that was where my charity lied. I had to be with the families who made me. It wasn't about spreading it, giving it to somebody anonymous. No, I did it with the people who built me today. So that's where all the goodwill has gone. And I'm very happy that when I see them progressively looking at me, and they've never turned me down, because I have the same workforce working for me in 40 years. Nobody's changed.
There is an example within yourself. I mean, how you could invest in other countries by actually taking their expertise, their love, their joy, and also reinvesting it back into them.
Absolutely.
And taking, first of all, giving them a house, a home, but then moving it one stage further and taking their first child to ensure that they're going through an educational position. This is truly, truly amazing. So thank you very much for being
I have to say it's very contradictory when you educate your own workforce, which is meant to be talented. They don't like to sit on the framework and do any handwork.
That's true.
So the parents have actually told me after so many years that I don't know if it was such a good thing.
You've killed the bloodline.
I killed the bloodline. I killed their art. And on hindsight, I don't know whether I should be feeling good or bad about it, but it doesn't matter.
But I would say that the intention is the key. Whenever you intend to help somebody, that intention never gets left empty. The vessel always fills with love and communication. So I'm sure at some stage, whether their children or they themselves decide one day that they could actually return to this.
Sukhi, my children have.
I was going to ask you, more importantly, I mean, look, I have to be honest truth with yourself. Look, you are a one-off. Does that make sense? In a beautiful way. You're a very bespoke, tailored individual.
Okay.
You're an amazing person. Okay. So doing help for other people, helping the internal charity, but by hand. This is very inspiring. I'm going to ask a simple question here. Everything revolves around Mani Kohli. So there is an element that has to be digested, translated, and endowed by your hand over to the relevant people. So Mani, we all think about legacy. We think about where we're going to be, how are we going to sustain this legacy? For example, in Lucknow, you're assisting hold that legacy, you're helping them build a house, etc. You're investing back in the community to find all these old techniques and arts and sustaining them. That's their legacy, and that's the legacy of the country. But what about Mani Kohli?
Well, in all honesty, I have to say that though my children are well educated and they started off by doing Master of Economics and what have yous in business studies, they have ultimately come home to roost in the fashion world. I think they have found that what they have learned from me, and by being in my business for the last 30 years, they've grown up with their eyes talking or seeing me actually just working with karigars and people and fabric. They got tuned. Their fine senses got so tuned that today I am so happy and I'm so proud of the fact that my son's launched his menswear and my daughter's launched her women's wear, and the takeoff has been to support the very community and industry that supported me to build who we are. So it's all intertwined. It's just not stopped with me.
So let's
the legacy continues.
I mean, okay, so the legacy continues. But can you please give your what are the brands that the children are running?
My son has run it on his name, which is called Saran Kohli.
Okay, so Saran
Kohli, and he's totally into menswear. S-A-R-A-N.
R-A-N. So if any of the gents out there who are listening, if you can see me talking to you now, go and find Saran Kohli. I'm going to be attempting to bring him onto this show as well. So I shall do my best. I'm sure he's my younger brother and I'll grab hold of him, sure.
My daughter has landed G Sin, which is short of Gitanjali Singh.
Yeah.
And she's got her own label, but which is more modern with a twist. And she has developed techniques from the basics to bring in something more modern and connected very well with the colors, the stream of the way I fabricated things.
And so how could anybody get hold of it? Saran in the UK?
Saran's in the UK and he has a collection within my boutique. I do carry some of my daughter's G-Sin collection in my boutique. In fact, I'll be doing a little launch again in summer with her. So, yes, they're both available. Both have their own websites and their own Instagram pages under their names, which is Saran Kohli and G-Sin.
Wow, amazing. So now a question to yourself. I mean, your daughter, where is she based then?
India.
In which city?
She's in Delhi.
In Delhi.
She wrapped up her business in America where she was representing Khubsoorat, went to the grassroots, learnt the whole trade again, and has built another brand.
Wow, that's so impressive because obviously not only did you set up yourself single-handedly, you know, you've been a single parent, which is what you said yourself, and you've come against all the adversities of the time, because at the time it was not really expected or supportive of being what we would call a divorced, a divaju, somebody who's left that particular point. You've nailed through this and more.
Sukhi, it's not been a good journey. It's not been a good journey. I'll tell you why I say it's not a good journey. Because somewhere along I lost my personal self. And there are moments when I think back and I think I could have been a little selfish and had maybe a nest for myself. It never happened. Only because I was too married to my business. Too married to my responsibilities of bringing my children up. And this is what I want women and men of today to understand. That there's always a lot of silver lining to every cloud, I agree, but it all comes at a cost. You have to forsake something to gain something. And one should never be feeling that they've lost something out there. I feel I did only because when I look around at the women and the accessibility today, I feel I was born in the wrong generation, in the wrong time.
But I must say something, you know, if it wasn't for parents like yourself and ladies of your nurture, they wouldn't have that today. Do you know, Mani, I am so sorry that we're running out of time again.
We'll come again. I'll come again.
I will. Well, that's an invitation that I'm going to take you up on. Okay, so we have been speaking to the Mani Kohli, the founder of Khubsoorat brand of collections from South Woodford High Street. Please connect and engage with her. This is Sukhi Wahiwala, who your host this evening every Tuesday on Salam Radio on the Empower Hour show. Good night.
Stay tuned to Salam Radio after this short ad break.